Straight ahead in this week's Working Woman Report, meet the spirited business owner who's using history as a hook to sell her small batch liquor. Plus, she's the daughter of daytime TV legend Susan Lucci, but she shares more than her mother's poise and love for acting. Find out how one of their family traditions has helped her blaze her own trail as a business owner. And did you ever pick up glass on the beach as a curious kid? These two sisters have been doing it for years. Now they're turning their finds into unique creations that people can wear. What's your idea? If you're ready to change your life and start making your passion work for you, listen up. The Working Woman Report is here to help, and it starts right now. Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Allison Hans. Our first working woman started out in the world of finance, but some words of wisdom from a professor encouraged her to go rogue and take a shot at pursuing her real dream of becoming a distiller of spirits. It seems only fitting that her first product would be a white rum inspired by the story of a notorious gangster.
Everything about Bridget Fertile and her Bushwick, Brooklyn business, which happens to be a 4,000 square foot distillery and tasting room, exudes coolness. Where else are you going to see a single woman in her 20s driving a forklift creating batches of liquor?
This was always a pipe dream, retirement type of deal. I would do this when I, finished my career in finance, and it would be kind of a hobby.
At the hedge fund where Bridget originally worked, she was on the consumer staples team. Her specialty was in global alcoholic beverages, so she had spent plenty of time investing, traveling, and studying publicly traded beer, wine, and spirits companies. She was thinking about going into venture capital, but decided to start her own company after listening to a professor talk about the subject.
The professor was a professor at Stanford talking to MBAs saying, how can you go into venture capital when you've never run your own business? How are you going to evaluate other people's business plans and decide whether or not to deploy capital to these startups when you have no experience in starting your own company? Go out, start your own business, don't be afraid to fail.
With those words in mind, Bridget created a business plan and developed her first product, which would be a white rum made from 100% high-test sugarcane molasses. She would call it Oni's.
Oni actually is the nickname of a man named Owen Madden, who was a notorious character at the turn of the century in the city. And he was from Hell's Kitchen, and he was a leader of the Gopher Gang. And then during Prohibition, he was a bootlegger, a speakeasy proprietor, and a rum runner. And that's really where I find a fit with him.
That's because the house Bridget grew up in Rockaway Beach, Queens, housed a speakeasy.
The story is that Oni actually had an estate in Rockaway as well, and he used to run rum off the shores of the Atlantic.
Bridget says the ships would come up from the Caribbean filled with rum, and they would line up on what was then known as Rum Row, about 12 miles out offshore into international waters.
The rumor was you could actually drive your rowboat under his house in Rockaway to take deliveries.
Fortunately for Bridget, deliveries these days are a bit easier. But there's still plenty of blood, sweat, and tears that go into this business.
This looks like a very interesting machine here. What is this?
So this is a copper pot still. It's handmade, made to order from Germany. And basically this is where distilling occurs.
From leading tastings inside the tasting room to transports to mixing and placing labels on bottles, Bridget does it all.
It's very liberating. It's awesome to be in control of your own destiny. It's super rewarding. There's no regrets, no looking back. It's the best decision I've ever made.
Bridget is one of a growing number of entrepreneurs getting in on the local liquor distiller business. In fact, her rum is one of 874 craft spirits listed in the current database at the American Distilling Institute. The Institute's website offers the latest information for distillers, including reminders about the importance of adhering to food and safety rules set by the Food and Drug Administration. To learn more, visit our website, workingwomanreport.com. Well, speaking of history, the inspiration for our next group of working women is more than 100 years in the making. We head to the island of Nantucket, where women have been doing the heavy lifting for a long, long time and show no signs of slowing down.
Off the coast of Massachusetts sits Nantucket Island, 48 square miles of beaches, lighthouses, and cobblestone streets. While the island today is a vacation destination for nearly 500,000 people a year, it also has a long, rich history. Much of that is due to its whaling-era past, but a good part is also due to its women. Nantucket has a long and proud history of women in business and female entrepreneurship. Sheila Fee owns her own knitting supply shop on the island.
There's such a strong base of women in business on Nantucket, which is great.
Nantucket's most famous businesswomen were the shopkeepers of Petticoat Row, now Center Street, located in the historic district. These photographs date from the late 1800s and are on view at the Nantucket Historical Association. While Petticoat Row may be gone, the name and what it signifies remains. Now an organization made up exclusively of female business owners on Nantucket, Petticoat Row's sole purpose is to support and empower women in business. Petticoat Row not only celebrates the unique history of women-owned businesses on Nantucket, it also helps women start up new businesses with motivation, education, and networking.
I think it's great. I think it helps to see other women in business because you realize you can do it.
If you'd like more information about Petticoat Row or the beautiful island of Nantucket, just head to our website, workingwomanreport.com. There's much more ahead on the Working Woman Report. Meet the daughter of a daytime TV legend who's turning a family tradition into a booming business. Plus, come along as we go for a treasure hunt off the shores of Lake Erie with two sisters who are relishing the success of their unique jewelry company. And meet the woman who brings Hollywood style to businesses who need a boost in branding. That story and much more coming up after the break.
I'm a scientist and I know the scientific world very well.
But in business, you really have to learn a whole different way of viewing your science and viewing your products.
And what I didn't really appreciate was to try and talk to the business community is very different.
Cultivating New York's Next Top Innovators in Health is a program by NYC EDC called the Bio and Health Tech Entrepreneurship Lab. The program features a mini MBA curriculum, expert coaching, pitch preparation, and access to a community of seasoned entrepreneurs and investors to get your project off the ground with funding.
You have to learn how to be a translator, how to make people understand how innovative it is.
It's going to introduce you to people that will enlighten you about the corporate world.
Because you can't just sell cool science.
Check out their website for more information on eLab NYC. Learn how to jumpstart your career with free training and opportunities around the city.
Welcome back to the Working Woman Report. I'm Allison Hans. She's the daughter of one of daytime TV's biggest legends, but this working woman is blazing a trail of her own. See how a family tradition inspired this celebrity daughter to launch her own award-winning business concept. In the 1970s, daytime diva Susan Lucci wasn't just starring on the hit soap opera All My Children. She was busy raising two babies in suburban Long Island. Still, she found the time to make homemade baby food for her daughter Liza and her brother. A few decades later, Liza is now carrying on that homemade tradition. But she's brought making baby food to a whole new level.
It's just amazing how life kind of leads you to where you are if you let it. And I've never been happier, and I really feel like I'm doing exactly what I should be doing.
That something is acting as CEO and founder of Sage Spoonfuls, which provides parents with a complete homemade baby food system, one that allows them to easily make, serve, store, and then take their healthy homemade baby food on the go. Liza started the line after her first son, Royce, was born, and she couldn't find anything to help her make baby food in an easy way.
I was labeling like ice cube trays with masking tape, and nothing was convenient. We were popping food out of cubes and touching it with our hands, and it didn't seem right. So I kind of had the idea for Sage Spoonfuls in my head, saying, gosh, I wish there was something like this.
While Liza had spent most of her adult life in front of the camera as an actress, starring on the daytime soap Passions and even being named Miss Golden Globe in 2000, she changed gears and threw herself into this new business endeavor. What she came up with was a line of products that now includes food processors and blenders, storage jars and labels, space-saving trays for the freezer, and even this book filled with recipes to get new moms and dads started. The idea is to cook natural foods in bulk for 1 hour every 2 weeks and then store it in the freezer.
That's the beauty of homemade baby food. There are no limits. You're not limited to what some manufacturer thinks is the most popular food combination. You know, you can make beans and meat and poultry and fish and fruits and vegetables and grains, really anything that you're eating for yourself and the rest of your family, you can give to your baby.
Liza says not only are you protecting the environment by saving all those baby food jars, she says you're giving your child a more nutritious diet, which actually ends up costing less than store-bought baby food.
I love seeing my idea come to fruition and see moms respond to it even more positively than I thought they would. And to now see it on the shelves of a store like Bye Bye Baby is just really a dream come true.
And if you're trying to make your dream come true, Liza has some advice before you get started.
You know, protecting your company name and your idea and your products and knowing what certifications you need and all of these things, really doing your homework on all fronts, I think is the best piece of advice I could offer.
Whether it's food, accessories, or furniture, there's plenty of business to be had when it comes to babies. According to Inc.com, the online baby market is expected to include more than 6,000 companies by 2018. Other reports show there's even money to be made in the luxury baby market. After a decline in 2008, Business Week has reported the category has rebounded with a 2014 projection of $10.6 billion in sales. To learn more about the baby business boom, just visit our website, workingwomanreport.com. While Liza Huber grew up exposed to the celebrity lifestyle, not everyone is as comfortable being on camera or marketing themselves to the media. That's where our next working woman comes in. With a background as a producer and video marketing strategist, she works with businesses looking to create a bigger buzz by creating compelling stories with a real Hollywood feel.
Hollywood commercials and feature films aren't just for the bigwigs anymore. These days, more and more up-and-coming businesses are looking to video to get their brand out there.
I was working with a lot of writers in Hollywood, helping them develop their content. And what I found was that the same elements that make for a compelling feature film or a compelling television show, any compelling story, can actually be translated to the business branding and marketing world.
Michelle Lang, the creator of M. Lang Media, has developed a way for companies to better sell their products in a media-driven world. She tells us it's all about creating a compelling story in front of the camera.
People are wired for story, and so the more you can let them into the story behind what you do, the story behind your business, as Simon Sinek would say, the why behind your business and why it's important and it's meaningful, it establishes an emotional connection with your audience and it builds that intrigue.
And Michelle knows how to create that intrigue. Her videos are designed to boost your brand, business, and bottom line. She certainly has the statistics to back up her vision. According to a recent study out of the Wharton School of Business, prospects are 72% more likely to buy your products and services when video is used. It goes on to say, video decreases the time it takes viewers to reach a buying decision by 70%.
Nobody wants to feel sold to. You know when someone's selling you and it feels disconnected and disingenuous. We usually respond to relatedness. So when you tell a story about your business through video, it builds that connection, that personal connection with your audience. It builds the know, like, and trust factor.
And it's not just a camera and director which her company provides. Michelle also gives detailed training on how to work and act when that little red light goes on. Generally, how to become more media savvy and how to build an overall comfort level in this technology-based world.
It's one thing to write about what you do. It's another thing to have to convey that in 2 or 3 minutes or less. And so having those powerful sound bites that are really going to hook your audience is incredibly important. You've got to get their attention within the first 30 seconds.
Michelle draws on 10 years' experience working as a professional actor in New York City. She's also worked for talent agencies and major studios, including Paramount, Universal, and MGM. To learn more about her business, just visit our website, workingwomanreport.com. There's more to come in this week's Working Woman Report. We'll introduce you to the sisters who turned a childhood pastime into a full-time career filled with special treasures. And it's smooth sailing for this salon owner who also launched her very own line of hair care products. That's next on the Working Woman Report. Stay with us.
Go with your business plan, make it attractive to whoever you're asking for money, whether it be sponsoring or investment. So you need to know that you have to explain to them what's in it for them and how are they going to get that money back, and B, is this really a smart investment? Put yourself in their shoes. If you were going to put money in somebody, what would you want to hear?
You're watching the Working Woman Report. I'm Allison Hans. We continue with the story of two sisters whose childhood included plenty of treasure hunts for beach glass. Now that they're all grown up, that childhood pastime has turned into a lucrative inspiration for their unique jewelry business.
Sisters Jennifer and Terry Reed have always been fascinated with beach glass. As kids growing up on Lake Erie, they lived a block away from the shoreline, and there was plenty to be found.
It was something that you collected and put in a jar at home. It wasn't turned into something.
That was until many years later, when Jennifer was a stay-at-home mom and her son Spencer found a piece of beach glass that he liked. He asked his mother, who loved to make jewelry, to try and make a ring for him.
I loved the marriage of the sterling silver with the cobalt piece of glass. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful, you know, I'm gonna make a necklace. I have to get in there quickly so I don't break the glass.
So she made a necklace, and she wore it out once. The reaction was immediate.
And somebody said, oh my gosh, that's sea glass. Where did you get it? I want 5. And I went, this is great. I could go to the beach, I could have my kids with me and start this little business.
Word of mouth about the unique pieces of jewelry grew fast. So Jennifer urged her sister Terry to come on board. Soon, Relish was officially born. On many days, you could find the adult sisters scouring the shores of Lake Erie, looking for treasures just like they did when they were kids.
When you find a piece of glass that looks like a robin's egg, it's blue or red or pink or orange or yellow, which are some of the more rare colors, you have this feeling of fascination.
The women believe the intrigue with beach glass, which is an international phenomenon, has much to do with the mystery and history of where a piece of glass comes from. No two pieces are alike.
Where did it come from? Who owned it? Did it go down in a ship? Before the days of garbage pickup, people would row their garbage out into the lake and dump it.
So while in some cases you may end up with the remnants of an old beer bottle or jar tossed around in the sand and surf, you can also end up with a serious piece of history.
And yes, we found marbles on the shoreline. The story behind the marbles is they were used as ballast in the shipping industry.
It's a great piece of glass, as you can see. And you don't find this stuff anymore like this. So it's really, really tough to find the little ones, let alone a really big one like this.
The ladies of Relish, who consider themselves more artists than business people, say they found their business footing after plenty of support and encouragement along the way, especially from the local Athena PowerLink program, which supports and develops female-owned businesses. Of course, nothing beats the link these two business owners have with each other.
It's a great thing to have a sister that you get along with so well. And of course, we don't get along all the time, like she said, but then you just walk away. You take a little downtime.
And that would be with anybody.
You just tell her to straighten up.
The Reed sisters say the colors of the beach glass are determined by its origin. For example, Vicks Vapor Rub, Phillips Milk of Magnesia, and canning jars often create shades of blue. Depression glass is usually behind pastels. Old Clorox jugs, apothecary bottles, and beer bottles often provide brown glass. Clear glass can come from bottles containing anything from milk to shampoo. And when it comes to rare finds, the coveted colors are red, yellow, orange, purple, and teal. Well, if you're like the ladies behind Relish and consider yourself more creative than business savvy, why not take a page from their success story and turn to the Athena PowerLink program? The program is designed to increase the growth and profitability of women-owned businesses, and it strives to help women navigate barriers to growth by introducing them to networks, mentors, and new business practices. If accepted into the program, a female business owner receives her very own team of experts.
So we look at these women business owners and we say, you know, what are your primary objectives? What do you want to achieve? And what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And based on that, through the application process, we then assign them an advisory panel of business professionals free of charge for 1 year.
The Athena PowerLink program is available in 30 cities across the United States. For more information, including how to apply for the program, just visit our website, workingwomanreport.com. Well, while many of us take some time before we find our passion or the thing we're good at, some people just seem to know right off the bat. That's the case with our next working woman, who says she always knew she'd work with hair and one day own her very own salon. Turns out that was only the first step in her success story.
I started my own salon because I wasn't satisfied with the salons that I had been working at. I knew what I expected as a client when I walked into a salon and spa. So I just decided that opening my own salon would be the best way for me to go.
Meet Elaine Campbell DeVito. Elaine is someone who's always seemed to know what she wanted to do. A stylist for nearly 20 years, her very first salon was simply called Elaine's. Today, E-Day Salon and Spa is her second successful salon.
Do your homework, know your business inside and out, choose your location very carefully. If there's a lease involved, make sure that you look over that carefully. Have a good accountant to help you with the tax laws, payroll questions that may come up, and be prepared to sacrifice a lot of time.
That kind of attention to detail has paid off for Elaine. Her knowledge and experience in the hair care industry has now extended beyond owning her own business to creating her own line of hair care products.
I chose to bring in my own product line because, in addition to the branding of E-Day Spa and Salon that it provided, it's also a way to ensure that my clients were able to go home with the best possible hair products that are available on the market. The company was started by hairdressers, for hairdressers. It's quality ingredients. The line is infused with peptides and amino acids that protect the hair color from fading and also protect the hair from environmental stress.
Elaine has some advice for others who may be interested in opening their own salon. First, choose your location wisely. Make sure there's easy access to parking and that your customers enter through a single entrance from a wide sidewalk. This way you can keep track of when your customers arrive. Next, figuring out what services you'll offer will determine what kind of equipment you'll need. For example, if you're offering hair coloring services, be sure to have extra chairs for people to sit in while they wait for their coloring process to end. And finally, be sure to hire beauticians who are properly licensed and certified to work in your state, and make sure each beautician posts a license at his or her station. For more information about opening a salon or just general tips for opening a business, simply head to our website, workingwomanreport.com. That wraps up this edition of the Working Woman Report. Be sure to connect with us in the social media world. You'll find us on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, there's always our website, workingwomanreport.com. Tune in next time for more inspiring tips and ideas from our fantastic women. Who knows, maybe you're next. See you then.